Hello everyone, this is Brian with Ingenious Technologies. I also have Eddie Lee with me. Eddie Lee is one of our senior product line managers. I'm a product line manager for Ingenious. We're both specifically product managers for the enterprise solution, and that's we're talking about EasyMaster today. The agenda for the presentation will cover enterprise class solution, which will just be an overview. Why you want to use EasyMaster, how to use EasyMaster, what things can you use in EasyMaster, what specific features, and we'll actually demo that. So you'll see me actually go back and forth between the presentation and our demo. So just be aware that I'll be switching between screens. But with that said, I'll go ahead and begin. We'll start very, very high level, and then we'll get granular into some of the demo aspects or some of the feature aspects. So just be prepared to go a little granular in some of those things. So EasyMaster, or our enterprise class solution. Really the core of our solution is EasyMaster, which is a license-free network management solution. Our enterprise class solution has really three major components: layer 2 PoE and non-PoE switches, a mixture of indoor and outdoor access points. It could be a ceiling mount, desk mount, wall mount, and some outdoor access points. And then the core of that manages both of these devices is EasyMaster, which is our network management software. And we're talking about EasyMaster and how it works with our switches and our access points. So EasyMaster has a very unlimited flexibility. The solution in general has a very unlimited flexibility. Any of our devices can be in a standalone mode. They're basically self-governed. So our hardware will work as just an access point and offer Wi-Fi to your customer base or to individual clients. So it will work in standalone mode. It would also work with our layer 2 PoE and non-PoE switches, which our switches act as switches and controllers. So they will actually manage other switches and our hardware, our access point hardware. Number 3 is EasyMaster comes into play. EasyMaster will actually manage access points and switches, and it will do it at multiple sites. So you can do across counties, states, even the country, and EasyMaster will manage different sites and manage down to the individual wireless client level, which we'll talk about a little more. The solution offers a very complete scalability feature where you can actually start very small and grow. You can actually manage one device. If you want to manage one device, you can manage one device in one location, or you can manage many devices in one location, or you can manage many devices across multiple locations. There's really no limitation to EasyMaster and our enterprise solution of hardware. So you can actually control an office network or multiple networks in separate buildings. You can expand and easily see your devices across, like I said, town, different counties, states, or the country using EasyMaster. And remember, it is a license-free software and there's no subscription fees. So when you buy our hardware, you're buying the hardware, and EasyMaster is a free download. And I'll show you where where EasyMaster is located. So why would you use EasyMaster? Well, it really comes down to saving time and money and improving efficiencies with your company or with your employees, improving the overall satisfaction with your customers. So to allow companies to be more productive, manage more network devices and with less or the same amount of employees, it really allows you to expand your business if you need to with minimal operation cost. It allows you to decrease or even eliminate unnecessary customer visits or truck rolls. So it allows you to eliminate those things or really decrease the number of times you're going out to visit a customer. You can actually resolve issues without even the customer knowing. EasyMaster allows you to alleviate customer resources, or excuse me, company resources for more important projects. You don't have techs walking to individual APs to configure them or reboot them. You can actually write one configuration, and that one configuration can be spread across multiple APs or even switches. EasyMaster allows you to improve the overall network performance. You can quickly identify where there needs to be updates, and mass configurations can be done around peak times, so there isn't really any interruption. It allows you to improve end-user experience. You can troubleshoot issues without, like I said, without customers knowing. You can do, again, mass configurations around peak times, so there's less downtime for employees and customers, and we'll talk a little bit about these things that I'm highlighting within this thing. But at the end of the day, why would you want to use EasyMaster? It comes down to saving time and money and improving efficiencies with your employees and company. So how to use EasyMaster? So what things allow you to save time, money, improve company efficiencies? Well, you can streamline deployments and software upgrades. You can also monitor and troubleshoot one or multiple networks, as I've kind of described. You can set up alerts and resolve network issues remotely. You can pretty much do anything remotely. We'll talk about all three of these things individually, and I'll highlight the features that a lot of our customers are using and a lot of what our field applications use. So we'll talk about those individual features. But first, let me show you where to find EasyMaster. So if you simply go to ingeniustech.com, you go to products, go to network management, you'll come to the EasyMaster landing page. You have an overview of the features of EasyMaster. You can just scroll down and look at the information that we have here. You can actually go to system requirements. It will tell you what you need for your server. So you're downloading EasyMaster, you're loading EasyMaster on a server. The server can be remote or it can be local. You can use different services to load EasyMaster onto. But it gives you the recommended server requirements that you would need, the browser requirements, so it gives you a multiple things. If I click back to overview, you can actually go to our installation videos, our quick install guide. This quick install guide is a written guide, whereas the installation videos are all on YouTube. You can actually use our software demo, which I'll use today, and then you can always try our hardware. Just take a quick note. You can actually use EasyMaster on multiple virtual machine versions, and you can find all these versions here. You simply click the version that you're using or want to use, and you will get a copy of that version. So just take note of that. And if you're already using EasyMaster, you can get updates on EasyMaster here. So if you simply go to Products, Network Management, you'll find EasyMaster here, and you find all your information about EasyMaster throughout this webpage. So that's where you can find EasyMaster and get more information about EasyMaster. Let me go back over to our presentation. So how to use EasyMaster, or what to use. So again, we're talking about streamlining deployments and software upgrades, monitoring, troubleshooting one or more networks. We're talking about setting up alerts and resolving network issues remotely. So, streamlining deployments and software upgrades. EasyMaster gives you the ability to quickly set up and maintain customer sites. This really improves company efficiencies, employee efficiencies, and it does save time and money. So just keep that in mind. Within equipment deployments, we'll talk about device inventory. in regards to access points, switches, and our AP mesh cam. We'll also talk about creating projects. We'll also talk about device configuration. And we'll also talk about AP grouping. In regards to equipment maintenance, we'll talk about access point bulk updates. We'll talk about switch updates, or bulk updates, and then one-click updates in regards to streamlining deployments and software upgrades. So at this point, I will jump over to our EasyMaster demo. Hopefully this translates very well and everybody has, it's very fluent, it works for everybody, and you really gain some information from this. So bear with me here. So this is our interface, our landing EasyMaster interface. This is our dashboard. So the first thing that we actually mentioned, or I mentioned, was under equipment deployments, I brought up device inventory. Within the dashboard, you can quickly click on, there's a menu up here, you can go to device inventory. Under device inventory, you can add devices. You can add access points, you can add switches, you can add AP mesh cams, for example. This really allows you to take inventory of unregistered devices and then add them into inventory. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, you buy our 11AC access point, the EWS 360 AP. You buy 10 of those. When you buy those devices, they can all be managed by EasyMaster. What you want to do is you want to take down the MAC address, you want to take the check code, and the description. And in some cases, the description can be as simple as the part number. But what we found is you want to put the location of where that access point is going to be. And we give you an example. For example, lobby AP or main office AP. You enter that information into this box here, and you register. You're basically registering those 10 access points, those 11AC access points, to your version of EasyMaster. So now you're loading those access points into your version of EasyMaster. The next step a lot of our customers do is to create a new project. If you simply go to projects, again, you're going to the main menu, you go to project, you create new project. Under new projects, you want to create a naming convention for your EasyMaster server. In a lot of cases, we have customers that create customer sites. So, for example, like Motel 6, for example, or UCLA, the University of UCLA. You want to use the customer name as a project. And that project will then be where you add your access points and where you configure your access points. And there's multiple things that you can do within projects. But the second thing after adding your devices is creating a new project. And you would just create the project here and apply. So if I go to projects, you're going to see me go in and out of different windows. So just bear with me. I'll try to keep everybody on track. So I'm going to projects. We already have projects listed here for Ingenius's network. We'll go to the LA office, for example. Under device configuration, you want to go to, or device management, device configuration, excuse me. You want to go to pending approvals. Under pending approvals are all those access points and switches that you added into EasyMaster under that particular project. So you registered your access points, you created a project. This project name, by the way, is LA Office as an example. All those access points are sitting there ready to be added to your project. You can simply check the box to click and select all the access points in this case, or you can click individual access points to add to the project. In a lot of cases, our customers will select all and then they'll add them to the project. The next step is you would want to go to AP grouping. So now you've added all your access points. You've added them to EasyMaster. You added them to a project. Now you want to configure those access points. So you're going to go to Device Management again. You're going to go to AP Groups. Under AP Groups, you will create groups or a new group. And say, for example, your customer or your project is UCLA. And the group name is the math department, the mathematics department. You simply add the group name, and remember, AP Groups is I'm configuring all of my access points for the mathematics department. So the group name is now Math Department. I can simply scroll down to Member Settings. Under Member Settings, you should see all of those access points that you registered and added to the project. You can select all the items or all the access points. In this case, my example was 10 11AC access points. All of those access points would show up. You would select all, and then you could configure all of those access points. You could configure the radio output power, you could configure the channels, you can configure the SSID or the broadcast name on the 2.4 gigahertz side. You can do that on the 5 gigahertz side. So there's a multiple things that you can do. You can do advanced settings, you can disable the LEDs, you can turn on band steering, you can set RSSI threshold. So there's a multiple things that you can do to mass configure 10 access points for the mathematics department inside your UCLA project, which is on EasyMaster. This is one of your projects that you're configuring. These are 10 APs that you're configuring within this setup. The other thing is equipment maintenance, which I talked about access point block updates and one-click updates. Again, I'm switching between windows to try to make it a little bit faster. So for, excuse me. Go to maintenance, then bulk update. Bulk update allows you to load a firmware update from EnGenius specifically on a switch or a particular access point. So for example, if you bought 10 access points and you find out that the version that you have is later and you need the newest version, you would either download the newest version from EnGenius, you would upload that file, or you would download that file, you would then upload that file, you would click upload that file to EasyMaster, and then you have a updated firmware version for your access points. Let me show you a better picture really quick here. So for example, again, we're in maintenance, bulk updates. I just uploaded this file, which is firmware version v3.3, file name. EasyMaster recognizes that I have one EWS 360 AP that needs to be updated. I select that file, select the particular AP I want to upgrade, and I add to upgrade. I can do this with access points and switches. So I can do it for both. So if I go to maintenance, I can do bulk update for APs or bulk update for switches. So it allows me to upload the file and then update those particular devices. Eddie, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, so here you see the EWS 360 AP. Actually, you can upload different model number. For example, if you have mix 360, 350, or any model number, it will show on the top, and then all the access point will list to the device list, so you can upgrade the firmware simultaneously.
Thanks, Eddie. The other feature that is very important for equipment maintenance is one-click update. I think this is probably one of the most used features from one of our bigger customers. And you would find that within global settings. So you go up, you're within EasyMaster as normal. You go to global settings, click global settings. You scroll down to one-click update. Within one-click update, you can check for updates. EasyMaster will has an inventory list of all the access points, all the switches that you have within EasyMaster, and it will check with our servers to understand if there's a later firmware version on those devices. If you can imagine, if you have 10, 20, 30 access points, checking for updates is something you'd probably do on a weekly, monthly basis. So one-click update is a very critical feature that our customers use a lot. The difference between one-click and Balk, Balk you are actually uploading the file, the firmware file, versus one-click it's understanding which access point you have within EasyMaster and which one needs to be updated. And you're actually, Balk update is doing it per project, whereas one-click is doing it for everything within EasyMaster. So you could have 10 projects, 12 projects, 5 projects. Each of those projects have 30, 40 access points. And that's the difference between one-click and Balk update. If you notice, in this example, it's showing one of our older units, the EWS 320 AP. It's telling you the new version. It tells you actually what the fix update is. In this case, it's a fix update, and it tells you the bug, and you can actually select and then update. And that will update every EWS 320 AP that is within all of your projects within EasyMaster. So that's equipment deployment and equipment maintenance. So again, it's about streamlining the deployment process with your customers, making the experience more efficient for your company and for your customers at the end of the day. What else to use within EasyMaster? So what you want to obviously monitor and troubleshoot. It could be one network or it could be multiple networks. A lot of our customers use these particular features within EasyMaster. So if you want to monitor, you can actually monitor active clients. You can monitor them down to signal strength or RSSI readings. You can monitor their bandwidth utilization. You can actually kick them off or ban them. Rogue AP detection is also part of that monitoring process. You can look at statistics, the history of access points and active clients. You can also troubleshoot. You can use the dashboard, and I'll show you 2 versions of the dashboard to give you an idea. I'll give you an actual real customer's dashboard, which they have allowed us to use as an example, and you'll see how quickly you can identify different issues or how well things are working. So I'll show that to you. You also can use, in regards to troubleshooting, our map view, floor plan view, and topology view to do things like locate problematic APs, the number of client devices that are connected, AP status, and AP configuration. So with that said, I will jump into that portion of the demo. So monitoring, we talked about active clients. There's multiple ways you can monitor active clients. You can actually go to, within EasyMaster, you can go to monitoring and simply just go to active clients. I typically take a different route. I actually go to visualization, and I will go to floor plan view to monitor kind of the activity. You can actually load or upload maps of the location, and you can drag and drop icons of access points on your maps. You can have different floor maps on here, so you can add different floors. If it's a 10-story hotel, you have 10 maps of each of the floors, for example. In this case, this is a mock-up of our office. You see 3 access points. One of those access points have 37 on there. If I run my mouse over that, you get some quick information, but if I click on there, I can actually go to device configuration, remove. I'm going to go to active clients. Within active clients, it gives me a list of clients that are on that particular access point in that map. I can actually sort them. Our field applications engineers, and typically I think Eddie does the same thing, we list them by RSSI dBm, and that basically tells us the signal strength. So it allows us to understand if they have a good signal strength. This particular client that's on an Android, he's currently on the lobby access point, so he's in our lobby. He has a somewhat weak RSSI threshold, and his bandwidth right now usage is very low. Could have something to do with his connection, who knows. You can actually check the bandwidth if you'd like to. You want to make sure that it's being used effectively. You can also, if I don't know who this Android unit is and they're on my lobby, I know their location, I'm not familiar with them, I can actually highlight them or check them, and I can kick them off temporarily, and I can go out and check the lobby and say, okay, is this a questionable person, or is this somebody coming in for a meeting? If I don't know who that person is, I can actually kick them off temporarily or ban them for good and make sure they're off the network 100%. Again, it's giving me the location because my AP device name is lobby, so it allows you to actually locate the client device itself. So these are all things to check on active clients. Again, you can find that under monitoring and then active clients, or you can go into the visualization tools under any of these tools. We have topology view, map view, and floor plan view, which I'll talk about again. Another monitoring tool is rogue AP detection. If you simply click on rogue AP detection, again, you can sort these access points. These access points are acting as detectors. So when you first deploy access points, our field applications engineers use this as a tool. They'll enable what we call background scanning tool, which we won't talk about in this presentation, but background scanning tool allows these devices, these access points that are deployed, to understand the Wi-Fi environment. And when you first set up your access points, you want to run background scanning. It will collect all the data of the devices that are in your network, and you would come to the screen to detect a rogue AP. So you can visually scroll through and quickly identify if there is a rogue AP attached to your network. And typically you can find that out. It's fairly easy because you're programming the SSIDs, so you have a very good understanding of SSIDs and the model numbers on the network. So you can quickly understand these are all my devices. This is definitely a rogue AP, and I can actually go and kick those devices off. Eddie, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah. From the rogue AP detection feature, you can also, if you see the right side detector, that's the AP who scanned the environment. So basically, it tells you what channel your neighborhood AP using. So they give you, like Brian just mentioned, give you an idea for your channel, what channel you should use.
Yeah.
If a lot of people use channel 11, for example, you probably need to use channel 6 or channel 1. So that is the tool for you to
additional tool.
Yep.
Yeah. So kind of go a little bit further. So as a troubleshooting tool, if you have a client that's having particular issues and it could lead to co-channel interference, rogue AP detection, this particular screen, you could actually scroll through all your channels and find, okay, there's too many devices on channel 6. Now, again, this is a demo site. This is mocked up. We don't have that many access points on channel 6, so just so you know. But yeah, I could definitely identify on 2.4 gigahertz, we're using a lot of channel 6. We need to stagger the channels a little bit better. Again, I know I have an idea where the locations are, so I have a really good idea on how to troubleshoot in regards to the co-channel interference. Another thing that can be used in regards to monitoring is statistics. If you go to statistics and go to access points, under access points, again, we're within a project, so I apologize if I'm not referencing that, but you're in this case, we're an LA office project. I'm looking at the access points within the LA office, Los Angeles office. It's showing the access points that are online and their throughput. You can actually find out which access point is taking on the most traffic. You can also determine where you may need more access points, where the R&D access point, for example, is taking on the majority of the traffic, whereas the meeting room is taking on very little traffic. Maybe I don't need an access point there. Maybe I need to move this access point near the R&D and offload all this traffic onto a second access point. You can also look at the time. When is the bandwidth being used the most, or when is the busiest times? And this is in military time. So I can look at the busiest times. Maybe on the slower times, I can actually do an access point reboot, or I can do a firmware update. So there's multiple things that you can do within the statistics and the history of the access points and how bandwidth is being used between the access points and the time. Under statistics, you can go to wireless clients. Again, we're going to show you the access points that are available. You'll notice the graph below, 7FRD is this particular access point, which is the most used access point. You know all of the devices that are on this access point and who's using the most of the bandwidth. I can also look at this other access point, the meeting access point, where nobody's really using that access point. I can actually click on that access point, and it will tell me who is on that particular access point and who's using the most bandwidth at that point. I can actually move this access point, and I know these individuals because I know their client devices, and explain to them, hey, we're moving this access point to offload some of this traffic that we're seeing on R&D and Office, for example. So it gives you the intelligence to be able to do these types of monitoring and troubleshooting within your network. For troubleshooting purposes, the dashboard is probably one of the best things because it gives you a quick view of your network. It allows you to quickly understand your inventory of all your access points, all your switches. It quickly allows you to see that I have 3 active access points and there's 0 offline. 1 switch and none are offline. I can actually click on offline and it will tell me which devices are offline, and it will actually tell me what project they're under and what device name they are and what model. So it gives you a lot of information. And I'm going to show you an example after this to show you the impact of how valuable this this dashboard is. If I close that, it will tell me the most recent projects and it will give me a high-level dashboard for those particular projects. So let me jump over, hopefully I'm still logged in, to an actual customer site. Let me refresh it to make sure. This is an actual customer site. They have 1,000 access points. They have 64 switches. Under access points, there's 973 that are active. There's 29 that are offline. They have 64 switches, 56 of them are active and 8 are offline. If I click on offline, it's listing all the access points that are offline. It's actually telling me the project. Actually, it's telling me the location because I've used a naming convention to better identify my projects. So I can actually scroll down and say, okay, this particular project is in Oklahoma, and this particular access point is down. I can actually click on this project and quickly go to that particular project. So you can understand from a very, very high level and go to a granular level and understand and be able to start to troubleshoot any issues that you may see. Sometimes you're doing this prior to the customer even knowing. So you can identify a problem before a customer even gets to their site, and you can call them ahead of time and say, look, I understand that there's a problem. You might not have seen it yet, but I have identified a problem, and we're in the process of working on that problem. Again, I can close this out. I have my recent projects, and I have all of the projects listed here. And for example, let's use this Kansas site. They have 10 managed devices, 10 are active, none are offline. I'm good. For this particular project, I am managing 28. There's 22 active, 6 offline. I might click on that, but I look at my other recent projects, and I find another one that has 20 managed, 19 active, 1 offline. So I'm thinking right away, this is more critical. I'm going to drill down on this particular site and understand why 6 are offline, and then I'm going to quickly move to this one and understand why this one's offline. So this gives you, like I said, a great way to start to troubleshoot into issues and for you to drill down to particular problems. The other great feature is using map view, floor plan view, and topology view. If I go into EasyMaster and I'm looking at visualization, then we go to topology view. Again, I'm in LA project, so I'm in the LA office. I'm looking at the topology view. It's actually giving me a breakdown of all my switches and all my access points. Let me minimize that a little bit. You can actually find problematic APs pretty quickly. It will tell you if it's off. If an AP is offline, it will go gray. If it's offline, it will stay the same color, green, if it's online. So you can quickly understand where the problem may be. Now you can look at it in a topology view, or you can look at it in a floor plan view. And again, you're getting that light status, that indicator, letting you know if it's up or down. You can go to map view. Map view you would probably use more in a campus, maybe in an outdoor environment. But you can use map view and you can drag and drop icons where the access points are located. Again, if I go to floor plan view, again, I can see very quickly the number of devices that are connected. I already know that the AP status is up. I can click on that device. I can go to device configuration, and it will actually go into the configuration of that particular access point, and I actually can change the output power if I want to. I can change the channels on 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. I can change the megahertz if I want to. The channel sizes. There's multiple things I can do. I can enable band steering. I can turn off the light status. There's multiple things that you can do within map, floor plan, and topology views to help you troubleshoot. So again, for monitoring troubleshooting, you have active clients that you can monitor. You have rogue APs that you can monitor for. You have statistics that you can look into. You can troubleshoot through the dashboard. You can also view map, floor plan, and topology view to quickly understand where problems are and understand if you need to change configurations. All of this is to really save time, save money, and improve efficiencies across your employees, across your companies, allowing you to do more important things like bring on new customers, for example. Alert and resolve. What to use in EasyMaster. So EasyMaster gives you the ability to work from anywhere. So you can set up customizable email alerts. You can set up customizable email alerts for system status, device firmware upgrades, wireless client info. You can also resolve access point issues, as I already kind of talked about, but we'll talk about a couple other features that you can use that are really important that our customers use, such as configurations, hard reboot, soft reboot. You can actually test cables for health strength and statistics, but real-time statistics. You can resolve wireless client issues. And so these are the things that we'll be talking about in regards to the demo for setting up alerts and resolving network issues remotely. So this is really talking about decreasing or eliminating truck rolls, resolving issues, again, before the customer really even knows. So if you go to global settings, you can go to email alerts, and under email alerts, you can set up your email server details here, and you can also enable different types of alerts. The more important ones, I would say, system status. System status really allows you to set up an alert if the EasyMaster server actually is rebooted, or if it went down at a particular time. It will give you an alert that something's happening and you need to check into it, or you need to go to the office, or there's more information. It just alerts you that something is going on with the EasyMaster server. You need to take steps to resolve an issue. Device status will alert you when a device becomes really unresponsive or goes down. So that's really one of the more important email alerts that we see set up. So if a device actually goes down, say it's early in the morning and a device goes down, you get an email alert. You actually can go into EasyMaster and start doing the troubleshooting and actually contact your customer and say, hey, I noticed that there's a problem. I've already started troubleshooting into the issue, and I've already scheduled a truck to go out and take a look at the problem because I tried to remotely fix it and there's nothing I could do. So I already have somebody in transit to fix that particular issue. Device firmware upgrades really is to alert you when an upgrade is completed. So it'll let you know on the bigger projects, when you're doing device firmware upgrades, they take a little bit of time, and so this alert will tell you when those are complete. So it really tells you when the project is complete or the firmware is completed. Wireless client info, and this is probably more used in particular cases, but it will alert you when clients come aboard. So maybe if it's a new customer, for example, a new hotel, and you just deployed Wi-Fi, you want to have an understanding of how many clients are coming on board. You can get an email alert saying, okay, you have clients coming on board. You can go into EasyMaster and then understand, okay, which of these devices, which of the access points are taking on a lot of traffic. And you are already in the mindset of, okay, do I have my access points deployed properly? Do I have enough that are covering in the lobby area versus in the first floor or the second floor? It gives you a lot of ability to start the process of figuring out, do I have a really fine-tuned Wi-Fi network within this particular application or this particular customer? Resolving access point issues. Let's see. So I, again, use topology view. You know, some of our field applications engineers take different avenues, but I think topology view or the visualization tools really do wonders for a lot of our customers and help out in a lot of cases because, again, I can go to my projects, I can see all my projects, and we have them based off of country. This is in regards to the US, obviously, and this is a city, which is LA. I can go to my project, I can go to my visualization, I can go to topology view. I can click on an access point. Again, this is a mock-up, so none of these access points have any clients except for this guy. He's in the lobby. There's 37. I can understand very quickly that he has 37 on there. I can click on that device and go again to the device configurations and start maybe resolving issues in this project, in this area, off the switch, and in this access point lineup. I can go to the device configurations and start to troubleshoot. I can look at the device configurations. I can also do a soft reboot. I can actually reboot the access point if I want to. I can notify my end user that I'm going to reboot this particular access point that's in the lobby. If I'm talking to an IT administrator for that office, I can tell him the IP address, I can tell him the MAC address, I can tell him the model. I can tell him that it's 2.4 gigahertz, it's operating on the 6th channel, or channel 6 I should say, I guess. There's a multiple things I can say. I can also do a hard reboot, and I think a lot of people that we're talking to today have a really good understanding and a difference between a soft reboot and a hard reboot. Hard reboots are really critical, I think, in our industry. You can actually click on the switch. Click on the switch, it gives you an option to collapse the view, so you can collapse these access points, or link to the switch. If I click link to the switch, it will take me to the switch. It probably booted me out. Let me see. Yep. Let me log into the boot or into the switch. It will actually log me into the switch. As I mentioned before, our switches have controllers built in, so I'm going to go to the switch section. And remember, I'm remoting into the switch. I'm now sitting at my desk. I'm going to my LA office. I'm going into the lobby. There's a switch that's connected to an access point. There's a problem on that access point. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to that switch. I'm going to the switch configurations. I can simply do a hard boot. So I can click on PoE port settings. I can identify which port is available, port 8. If I highlight that port, I click disable and apply. It will power that port down, and it will power that access point down. I can then click that port again and enable that port, so I can bring the power back up on that particular access point. So let me explain that again because it's really critical. So as an example, I start from my dashboard. I see there's an issue in Kansas. I go to Kansas. I see that there's a particular problem. There's an access point that's offline, or there's a particular problem in an access point. I see that's connected to one of my switches. I link to that switch. I go to the port of that switch that's connected to the access point. I reboot that access point. The other thing I can do is I can actually check the line between the port and the access point. And I can do that within the switch, within the Ingenia switch. I can quickly go to the diagnostics. I can go to cable diagnostics. I can select the port, which was port 8, and I can test that port. And it's telling me that all pairs are okay. I can scroll over. All pairs are okay. I can actually do a ping test. I can ping to that particular access point, or I can ping to that particular client if I want to from the switch. So I'm taking a lot of other devices out of the picture, and I can ping from my switch to the actual access point or to the client itself. Maybe the problem is at the client. Maybe I can identify that. So these are some of the things that I can do. I can check the cable, the health of the cable. The other thing I can do is I can look at the statistics. So jumping out of the switch back into EasyMaster, if I go to statistics, I can go to real time. I can actually check the access point. I go to the lobby access point, and I can watch what bandwidth is being used on that particular access point. Maybe I need to add another access point. Maybe the bandwidth is overused on this particular access point. This will give you some indication if there's a problem in regards to bandwidth. why a customer is having problems with bandwidth. It allows me to go a little bit further and try to troubleshoot the problem even more. You can also resolve wireless client issues. Again, I would go either to monitoring and go to my active clients. Within active clients, I can, again, look at the RSSI DBM and understand if they have a weak signal. Again, I can sort this by RSSI threshold, and I can identify quickly who has a weak signal. These individuals have a weak signal on this particular access point. Maybe they're too far away from the access point. Maybe I need to deploy another access point in this area closer to these individuals to improve their signal strength. There's multiple things I can do to maybe fix that particular problem. Eddie, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah. You probably want to know if EasyMass software down. It's like Brian mentioned, just go to the email alert. If you see system info email alert, notify you, say if the system is down. Whether the AP is still functioning, the answer is yes. Even with the EasyMass down, all the access point or device will still functioning. It won't down. The AP or device won't go down because the EasyMass. And in addition to that, I want to add something like, when you see the AP offline, if you go to the dashboard, Brian just showed you, you see the offline. If that offline, it doesn't really mean the AP is not functioning. It just means like the AP didn't talk to the EasyMass properly for many reasons. But AP is still functioning, still broadcasting. Your client device may still be able to connect to the AP. It could be many reasons, but so that is just for your reference. Say the AP is not communicate back to the EasyMass for different reasons. Yeah, that's all I want to add up.
Yeah, just really, Eddie really hit on like a really value that EnGenius offers. As I mentioned in I think the second slide, our devices are operating in a standalone mode or a management mode. If it loses connection for whatever reason to the EasyMaster software, the devices are functional. They're still operating. They're self-governed at that point. You don't have any central control over those unless you have a switch that's localized at that particular site, and then you can have that switch take over. But he brings up a very valid point in regards to they work in a standalone mode too. So if you lose that connectivity, unlike cloud services where the device becomes unresponsive or goes down, that's not the case with EnGenius. You're really seeing the advantage when you're using the solution. So with that said, all of our devices shown here, we have a very comprehensive line of hardware, anywhere from an outdoor version to an indoor version to a wall plate to an AP mesh cam, even our 8-port all the way up to our 48-port switches. All can be managed by EasyMaster, and all these features can be a part of, you can troubleshoot all these devices with all the features that we talked about today. And at this point, I just want to thank everybody for their time, but we'll open it up for questions.